Amazing. Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to jump straight into our trading mindset call tonight. I want to keep it really open. So if you've got any questions, either drop it in the chat or feel free to come off mute. I want to make sure that this makes complete sense. So any questions you got along the way, please do just let me know. That'd be good. Great. So first of all, I hope you're all doing well. I saw some stuff that you're grateful for in the chat, which is amazing. So some of you even grateful for waking up. It's one of the things we take for granted sometimes. That's a really good one. Really strong, powerful. Amanda, you're grateful for finally feeling like you're back in the zone. Yeah, I know you've had a tough few weeks. Absolute understatement. So indeed. So as I said in the chat, I'm absolutely blown away by where I live. I was down the beach most of the day today and it was amazing. I feel very lucky. There's lots I'm grateful for, and I think that's one thing, all the personal development I was told to do, which let me just recap quickly my story. I was told when I came in to this opportunity to throw myself into personal development, and I literally brushed it off. Like I didn't connect trading and mindset and being a better version of me. It didn't join the dots. So I kind of gave lip service for ages. And now it's something that I absolutely rely on, actually. It's the difference between the amateur and the professional. So let's get straight into it. Most of tonight I'm going to be talking to you like this, and then I've got a little bit of a presentation I want to show you to get specific about trading. So hopefully you've all got something to write with and you can make some notes. But the biggest thing for me, for anyone starting this journey, so mainly for the newbies, but a good reminder for everyone else, is the mindset phases of learning how to trade. They are absolutely 100% accurate. And I think most of us have felt them all, if hopefully all of these 4 steps. So the first phase is excitement. So when you join the academy and you start going through all the videos, you get added to all the groups, you start, seeing all of this information is real, and like, oh my God, there's so much I want to learn. I'm excited. I want to make loads of money. Blah blah blah. And you get that wave of excitement. That's completely normal. Absolutely normal. What can happen though is, as you get a little bit further in, and the information starts creeping up in difficulty, sometimes you can have waves of like self-doubt, and you can go literally like, oh my God, I hope one day I can understand what Manny is going on about, or what Chris is talking about, or what Ian's going on about. Sometimes it can feel a little bit overwhelming, and then we start to think, oh, can I actually do this? That's very normal. I would ensure all of you are absolutely on the right path if you get into that zone, but you don't want to stay there long. The absolute best thing to do is to practice like believing in yourself. I put it in the group over the weekend. Like, you guys can do anything you believe you can do. It's just a way that you perceive your challenges. And when you keep going, and when the information starts to get in, or you start trading and you start having better results, like I've got the formula. I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you all the formula to make sure that you've got all the tools you need. But when you start having success, you then enter a really exciting phase where you start to believe in yourself. And that is where self-belief is where, like, you can start to really feel like, oh my God, I'm onto something really good. A lot of people in that stage start really like dreaming, and they start really thinking about their goals and what's going to change in their life. And it's another exciting stage. So we then jump back into excitement. We can then have a few more tests and challenges along the way, and we jump back into self-doubt, and then we fly back into self-belief. And you can be caught on that 3 phase sort of merry-go-round forever. But we've worked out a way to get you from all of those three, that vicious circle, and into the fourth, which is the most important, and that's where you have faith. Faith in your ability, faith in the strategy, faith in all the tools, everything that you're going to learn. When you have faith that you're in the right place at the right time and you're doing the right thing for you, your life will change. Everything will change. Now, for some of you, getting into that sweet spot of, right, I have absolute faith in my ability, we're all going to get there in different ways. And what I'm going to try and do with all of you is help you figure out the way that you're going to believe in yourself that much, where you know you can't lose. All right. For me, it was one very specific thing that changed everything, but that might not be the same thing for everyone. So we'll work together. That's what we do. Cool. So always have them in mind. So always think like, right, I'm excited. Okay, I kind of know what happens next. Sometimes it can be very difficult, and then you start to doubt yourself. Especially, I'll tell you where self-doubt really jumps in when you put like time limits on things. So if you go, right, I want to be funded by July, and it's June, and you've not had your breakthrough yet, you can start thinking, I'm doubting that I'm going to do it by July, and then all of a sudden you start to spiral down. So having time limits sometimes, like we're always taught, aren't we, to like be specific. Well, by when? When do you want it? It's always a good thing to think about, not to like hold yourself to. So just go with the feeling and be like, right now I'm doubting my ability. I know I need to get better at market structure, or I need to do X, Y, Z better, and work with me specifically. We'll get there together. And whatever it is, everyone's different. So there might be a lot that we need to unpick in you that I didn't have to do myself. That's cool. Luckily, Ian, Alan and myself, so we're all funded. We all trade completely differently. We had a meeting today. We all do it differently. We're all successful. So there'll be little things we can learn from each other, which would be amazing. All right. Okay. So excitement, self-doubt, self-belief, faith. We're all trying to get to faith in your ability and what we're doing. Okay. Now, I'm going to try and remain professional on this bit. The thing that really made a difference to me is I started to change who I listened to when it came to trading. You only have to look on Instagram or wherever, and you see everyone winning. And you see things, sometimes even in our groups, where we celebrate each other. It's a part of our culture. We celebrate achievements, and it can start to actually get you down if you're not doing it yourself. So, recognizing those things, they're not going to stop because it's what we do. But recognizing those things, just letting yourself know that you're on your own journey. You haven't got to think about competing with anyone, or someone did it in 4 months, so why am I taking 6? Like, it doesn't matter. Literally doesn't matter. When it comes to another aspect of who do you listen to, that's more about like who's going to train you. Well, one, we've got master educators. So Manny is our educator. That's the first port of call I go to whenever I think, right, I need to freshen up on my skills. I listen to Manny. Don't listen to anybody else. Manny. My role to you guys is, I am funded. I've been through a lot where I didn't have success, and I hopefully can then understand what the pain you're feeling if you're going through something I've experienced myself. But I know how to trade profitably. So where I sort of fit in is you can't ask Manny a question. So when he's going through his stuff, and he's an amazing teacher, but he gets very complex sometimes. And it can be quite difficult. You're practicing the information wrong and you don't know it. So I'm there to sort of, if I can answer it, just say, oh, it's like this, or Elliott waves means that, or fibs, you draw it this way around. So I'm like that person that can answer your question. I don't ask anyone else for help with trading, apart from people that have the results I want. So, there's lots of people that will offer you help, but do they actually know what they're doing? But just be really careful who's actually trying to help you, because everyone's got the right intentions, but are they gonna assist you or confuse you? My first port of call will always be using my subscription, listen to Manny. Always. His information is ridiculous. So who do you listen to? Some really good people for trading is Mark Douglas, so Trading in the Zone. He's got some material on YouTube, which is really good, like Trading Like a Pro. It's really good. There's lots of people for mindset. So you've got Bob Proctor. You've got all that, like Tony Robbins, Kevin Trudeau, Warren Buffett. There's loads and loads and loads. Just at any time you need any mindset stuff, but it's everywhere on YouTube. If you just put in motivation or mindset, positive thinking, anything like that, it's everywhere. So yeah, listen. Who do you listen to? Listen to people that got what you want. If you want to be a specialist trader, listen to Manny. If you want to be, if you want to know how to use his strategy to make it work for you to get funded, then I can help you. Simple. All right. Okay, next. Right, I went through like a complete journey with this one. So it's about being coachable. Now, when I first joined, I was so keen to learn. I was excited. I would listen to everything and everyone and anything. And when I started to have a few like road bumps and some trickiness, the self-doubt creeped in, and that's where I stopped being a bit like coachable. Like I actually stopped listening, and I was in that sort of cycle of, am I going to be able to do it? It seems very complicated. I thought it was quite easy. I've been told it's simple, and I'm not finding it simple, and all this sort of stuff. But you always have to be coachable. The best way to know how coachable you are, there's two things. So I think about this a lot now, because even though I'm funded, I haven't reached all my goals yet. So I'm always thinking about these two questions, which are, what is my willingness to learn? Okay, I'm always thinking, well, have I taken my foot off the gas? Like, I'm not an expert on everything. I'm fairly good at a few things, but I can be better. I could always learn more. So have I slacked? Am I a 5 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10? And you're always aiming to be 10, always wanting to learn. Right, give me more. Manny's market geometry masterclass. Whew. I watched the intro and I had to stop it. It was deep. But when you get to that level, if you did that on the first few of videos you ever watch, probably run for the hills. But it's a steady progress. You always have to be willing to learn. So that's how much effort you're going to put in, how much time. Are you going to schedule in your time? I've talked to some of you about doing an hour a day or doing like 20-minute segments, like whatever fits your lifestyle. And the way you learn, there's different ways people learn. Make it relevant to you, whatever fits into your life. But you have to be willing. You have to be putting the work in. Okay. The second question is your willingness to change. Right? Willingness to change. So you have to change the way you do pretty much everything. So from how you think about money, that is probably the biggest thing I could give you is when you're trading £1,000 and you're down 20 quid. You know, what's 20 quid? It's not even around a lot of the time. When you're down 2 grand, you're down £200. You know, the numbers change. Sometimes the way we've been taught about how we think about money make us act irrationally. So when we trade, we go, "Oh my God, well, I'm going to close it." But you know, it's just a trade. It's just your account. So there's things that are going to challenge you to change the way you think about things. So that can be, you know, you have to be willing to make those changes. That could be, we've been so lucky with lockdown because we haven't had many distractions. We haven't been able to go out. We talked about this on calls when everything started opening up, but now we've got distractions everywhere. You can go for dinner, you can go for cocktails, you know, you can start seeing your friends, obviously do all that stuff because that is life. But there will be little things just for a short term that you're gonna have to sacrifice. There's gonna be something, I don't know what it is, whether it's Netflix, whether it's playing golf. There'll be something that you're gonna have to take a back seat to let trading come through. But once you master the skill of trading, you can achieve anything you want. Honestly, anything you want. Financial, time, whatever the freedom you're looking for, you're in the right place. So your willingness to change is also at a 10. So if you're willing to learn but you're not willing to change, you're only going to get so far. So you need to be really willing to learn, put the time in, and you're going to be willing to change the way you do stuff, change the way you act, change the way you think. You know, when Bryony said to me about doing a journal, had no interest, zilch, none. Now my journal runs my trading, and it's just I had to change the way I thought about doing all the data and writing all the notes, and now I love it. So just things like that. We've got to be willing. All right. So if you're 10 out of 10 on both, you're in the sweet spot. If you're not a 10 out of 10 on both, then we need to have a chat, or you need to have a chat with yourself and be like, okay, well, I'm not willing to learn. I've stopped listening to videos, whatever it is. Cool. What's next? All right. So this is the last sort of general piece of sort of mindset stuff, just to like help you recognize how we learn stuff. And then I'm going to get into the specifics. But there's 4 main steps that we go through when we're learning something new. Now, it could be a new strategy, it could be trading in general as a new. So Amanda, I know you've done a few strategies. Simon, obviously you're going to be absolutely brand new to it all, and the other guys, you know, you've mainly done harmonics. I've been around a few of the other strategies and come back to harmonics. So we go through these phases. So before you start learning, let's talk about it being trading. Before Des said to me about this opportunity, I didn't know that the average Joe could learn how to trade. So at that stage, I was unconsciously incompetent. I didn't know what I didn't know. So I didn't know about support, resistance, trend lines, fibs. Didn't know anything. Very quickly though, when you join, you realize that you're consciously incompetent. So you know that you don't know. And you're at that stage where you're like watching the videos and you're like, everything's blowing your mind. You know, Manny's going on about time and price and dates and how many pips and bars and ABCD patterns and trying to fit fibs in. And, you know, we've all been there, we've all watched his videos. And you're like, it's like a foreign language. But you know that there's information and there's people making a living out of trading. You become aware that you can learn. After you watch videos, so you're going through all these excitement, self-doubt, self-belief, faith at the end, so going through all those cycles at the same time. But after a while, you become consciously competent. So you have to think about trading. You go, I know the strategy. I know that I've got to look at the scanner. I know I'm looking for a 618 pullback for a fib, and I'm looking for divergence. You know all this stuff. Like, it's cool, exciting. I know all this terminology. And but where you're at right there is the stage where most people stop. Okay, most people stop at that stage and they go, right, I get it. I get scanner source. I get the strategy. I understand it. Most people stop there, and that is the biggest failing of all time. Most people stop because, I don't know why, but most of the time what I've seen, they aren't getting the results. And that's normally a real fine tweak. And for me, that tweak, so Simon, you asked, the specific thing for me was actually using my journal. My journal changed everything, absolutely everything. So some of you I've shared my journal with, and I'll share it with anyone. But it'd be like the days of the week that I trade, times, the patterns of the harmonic scanner, the fib levels, was there divergence, was all the strategy indicators lining up, like everything. How did I feel? How did I feel before the trade, during the trade, after the trade? Did it win or lose? Right, if it won, great. Did I miss anything? Even if it won, did I get lucky, or was I on the right path? Now, obviously, you do the same if you lose. Right, if my trade lost. All these things came from my journal, and then my journal took the emotion out of trading. Okay, so if I go, I'm risking 1% of my account. If I lose, I'm down £700. But if I win, I'm aiming to make 3%, which is 2,100. So before I even click the button, I've determined the parameters. Am I going to lose 700 or win 2,100? Simple. So it took all of that, like, oh my God, is it hit profit? Am I in drawdown? All of that stuff went because I went over and over and over the strategy, over and over and over and over and over. And when you do that, you then become unconsciously competent. All right. So there's two absolute things I want to make so clear that you do not miss. One is you want to get into a faith mindset where you believe in yourself so aggressively that you know you can do it. And then two, that you become a trader that can trade on autopilot. Just like tying your shoes, driving your car, whatever it is that you do without even thinking, trading will become that for you if you stick at it and we work together. And the difference between becoming autopilot and having to think about it all the time is repetition, doing the right things over and over and over and over and over again until you can see the trend. You don't even have to mark it up, you can just see it. You can see support, resistance, divergence, and everything happens quick. And then you go, right, I'm just waiting for entry. Bang, right, gone. In your phone. Then you go to the beach. Yeah? Becoming unconsciously competent is our aim. Autopilot, I like to call it, and having faith in you and your ability. But I want to show you all the different phases so that you can recognize them when they come your way and just go, okay, this is part of the process. All right. Sweet. I love this stuff. Okay, cool. So I'm going to move on to trading specific stuff, but has anyone got any questions before I do? I'm just going to set my presentation up. If you do, come off mute, ask questions in the chat. I'll give it about another few seconds. Let me
Hi, Chris, it's me.
Hello.
Amanda, you're right. You're right. Yeah, no, it's not really a question. It was just like what you were saying, just about the way you was feeling. Like, I've literally, you know me anyway, and I've been through it, and it's just been like, it just seems so strange for me to hear you being a different person to the way you was then. Do you know what I mean? Knowing that I'm going through the same and just
Yeah.
thinking like, oh my God, imagine like in 6 months, I'm hopefully going to be there. Do you know, like I just spent a lot of time and energy in other places, and to hear you being like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, you was there at that time, and it's just crazy to hear. So yeah, it just gives me some kind of hope that maybe one day.
Yeah, you remember my wobbles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've all had the wobbles.
Yeah.
Me more so than anyone.
And this kind of, we all have different journeys, don't we? I know you've got stuff going on now, but it's there to be had. I know you can do it.
Yeah.
I know you've got the desire. That's the main thing.
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm not quitting. You know, like last week, what was I like? I was so close to quitting, like for like the 20th time. But I wake up the next day, I'm like, no, not quitting, not giving up. So yeah, just hopefully I'll be all right. I hope you'll be all right soon.
You will be.
I just see Fiona; she's wobbling as well at the moment.
I know. We had a chat. Recently. It's not easy, and these, learning. Well, it doesn't even have to be trading, but we're all learning how to trade, and it can give us so much that all of these things to get there are just like, it's testing us to see if we're worth it. And you all are worth it.
Sure, he's testing me right now. Sure, he's testing me. Gonna mute again now. Let someone else speak.
All right. Cheers, Amanda. Right, guys. Fiona, honestly, trust the process. I promise you. Trust it. Cool. So, like Amanda sort of touched on it there. I've been through, well, you will know actually as well, but it's not been easy. It certainly has not been easy. And hopefully with this stuff, you'll kind of see why trading is so hard. It's really hard. So, okay, first of all, we've got to think like, right, what is 90% of traders lose 90% of their money in 90 days. So 3 months, they've blown it. So what's the other 10% doing that the other 90, what's the difference between the 90 and the 10? And I've got it. I know what it is. So first of all, you've got to understand that a lot of us are doing this when we start. We're doing this on the side. So we've got our kids to look after. We've got jobs, businesses. We've got, I'm just thinking about the people on this call, and we're all in the same boat in some ways. We've either got stresses at work, distractions at home because we've got young family, or we've got both. We've got work, family. We've got lots going on. We've had COVID. We've had our lives turned upside down. Imagine having all of those feelings and then trying to trade. Bloody hard. Crazy. So getting in the right frame of mind to trade is really important. So whatever that is for you, whether that's like you do like a little 5-minute breathing exercise, or you listen to some motivation, a speaker or music, whatever it is, don't care, doesn't matter. As long as when you approach the market, you're focused. Have to be focused. Otherwise you make errors. Errors cost you money. So I relate this, I used to play a lot of sport, so I relate this always back to like days of playing football. So before we would play a game, we'd get riled up, like in the change rooms before we go out to, we're pushing each other around and shouting at each other and getting each other ready to, for war. Obviously it was only football, but like there was a whole thing before we'd even stepped on the pitch. And the whistle goes, you've got to get in the right frame of mind to be, whatever you're doing, you've got to get yourself prepared to be good. When I say about focus, I realized from my journal that I can only really focus properly on trading for about 90 minutes. If I trade more than 2 hours a day, I normally get like desperate, and I start trying to make it fit, and then it often loses. So I do 90 minutes. If there's nothing there, I chill out. I might have a look later, just depends how I feel. Like today, I didn't see anything, so I went to the beach. Oh, it's great. Okay. So focus is massively important. Most people know this fact as well, that a successful trader is made up of 10% skill. The skill actually, once you learn it, it's complicated to start with. But once you learn the skills, when it's autopilot, that's the easy bit. It's then in the right frame of mind is where people go wrong. So I asked myself a few questions. Why is mindset so important? What is a trading mindset? And why does it have such a large influence on our performance? So these are the questions I asked myself, and hopefully I've answered them here. So this little guy is what I was trying to become. And Alan Vernon will be my witness. Becoming a robot. So why? Well, the markets are not moral or immoral, they're amoral. So they haven't got an agenda. All right, the banks have an agenda. Their agenda is to make money. They know how to make money is by us losing, but the banks aren't picking on Eddie. They're not picking on Fiona. They're not picking on Amanda, Simon, Chris. They're not picking on us specifically. They just know how most people trade because they normally learn off YouTube, or they don't pay for the right education, and they're basically set up to fail. So the markets have no emotion at all. We, the traders, we perceive the information and then we make judgments on that. So imagine that if your emotions, like again, just cutting back to like being in the right frame of mind, imagine you're on the charts, you've just had a blazing row with someone and you're angry. Yeah, you're probably going to look at the chart differently and interpret the information differently if you just had a wonderful evening out with your friends or day out with your friends or whatever it is. So whatever you're feeling when you come to trade, you can bring that into your decision making. And that's why like getting a routine down, which is what I'm going to show you, makes a huge difference, massive difference. I said I touched upon this earlier, but obviously your mindset too, like when your trades are losing or when you've got like a massive profit, it can be very, very tempting to look at the money instead of looking at the trade. And all of that comes from coaching yourself to look at every opportunity just as another trade and not, oh, I'm $2 up, I don't want to lose it, so I'm going to close it. All right. Very, very, there's a saying Mark Douglas is coined, which I'll put in the group afterwards because it's a bit colourful language and this will be going on YouTube. But it's very, very true. And it's, you know, a lot of people will stop the winners winning. So they'll get into like 1% profit and close it. But yet when they're losing, they'll let it run and run and run and run because they're hopeful it will change, turn around. But like staying calm, having emotions out of the market is the intention I want everyone to get to. Like if you're training with emotions, you can become inconsistent, irrational. You can be making decisions based on so many different things that your emotions are giving you. It's so hard to be consistent. So this little guy is just a little playful way of thinking like an absolute robot. All right, an absolute robot. So what does that mean? Well, that means we rely on the strategy. The strategy works. It works. Okay, we can use the strategy in different ways. Like Ian uses it slightly differently to me, and Alan again uses it differently to me. But fundamentally, we do the same things. The way we enter sometimes is slightly different. So, you know, Ian is going to explain the way he does it to us later on. But fundamentally, he's doing the same thing every time he trades. So for him, it works. I'm doing the same thing every time I trade. It works. I can only control me I can't control the markets. So if I'm coming into the market with, I need to make 10 grand today, all of a sudden I'm not going, well, I'm going to see what opportunities there are. And if there is one, I'm going to capitalize on it, which is like the way I try and myself to trade. Like if I've got a monetary target, then a lot of the time I can force a trade. That was like a bad habit I had. All of these things came from experience, pain, getting it wrong, analyzing why I got it wrong. Some people get it wrong and never look at the chart again. They'll go, no, I'm not ever trading that pair again. But you just got to humble yourself and go, right, what did I miss? Did I miss something here? You won't do it too often. You know, if you learn from your mistakes. But anytime there's emotion in your decision making, you know, it's very, very difficult to be consistent. Very, 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 very difficult. We have to be disciplined. We have to just set the trade, let it run. You know, for example, I know there's some, and what I used to do is, you know, I'll just aim for TP2 instead of TP3 or the extension, which is what I've told everyone to aim for. And all of a sudden, your risk reward isn't there. Or trading with the trend, but there's not many opportunities. So we trade against the trend and just try and nick a few pips. But that isn't the strategy. So it's really hard. If we're doing things differently when we trade, how on earth can we ever analyze that in a way that we know if it works or not? So we have to be prepared to just go through the same thing every time we trade. Same time of day. Actually, that's less important than I thought it was. It's more important for like you to get in the right zone, but these things happen all times of day, all days of the week. You know, it isn't like Thursdays are best. Like over my analysis, certain months have different traits, but they happen all days of weeks. There's opportunities everywhere. Okay, so a positive mindset. Why is it so important? Well, all emotions come from market participants, you and I and all the rest. And most of us are obviously human. So there are some like bots. You can get like algorithms, and you can get you can put your strategy into a system that will trigger every time it happens. Like AI, like we don't do that. But because mostly it's humans behind the computers or their phones, like chart patterns, following trends, looking at candlesticks. That's why it works, because we've interpreted the algorithms of the banks, basically. So I've said about 90% of traders losing their money within 90 days. So what are they doing? That's on the next page. Yeah, so the ones that win, honestly, the difference is their mindset, is that they don't trade with emotion, they don't rush, they wait, they're more patient than most, they do less trades, and when they trade, they execute. So a trader, imagine you've got like I'm not going to do an analogy actually, right? So you've got a strategy that says, right, place a trade when you've got 5 green lights, and you get 1, 2, 3, 4. If you put a trade on, we've only got 4. Well, you haven't got 5. So if that loses, that's on you. If you get 5 green lights and it loses, then it's on the strategy. The strategy doesn't lose that often. It really doesn't. So being patient, being disciplined, that is the difference. But not training with emotions and being disciplined with the strategy. Okay, so I've kind of covered a lot of these already, but what is the difference? So have a routine, whether that's a morning routine, evening routine, wake up earlier if you need to, meditate, exercise, whatever you need to do to approach the market relaxed, do it. Please do it. always be learning. We've got Go Live, which is like I've only just started watching TV series again, and I don't do much of it. Like, TV is the devil. It will sap your time. You know, you can bust out a 2-hour film, and you could have watched 2 Go Live sessions. So that's kind of where the sacrifice comes in. Like, well, I'm not going to watch Netflix. I'm going to watch Go Live. We've got it there in abundance. Learn, learn, learn. Risk management, so I'll do a one call on. All I'll be talking about is risk management. Absolutely fundamental. Most people don't know how to do this when they start, and that's how to control your losses so that you can, again, that takes a lot of the emotion out of trading. Journaling, spotting mistakes, spotting training needs, spotting your habits, spotting when you're best. Are you good on Mondays? Well, if you lose every trade on a Monday, don't trade on Mondays. I don't trade Mondays. I don't trade Fridays very often. Because what my journal tells me. So what does your journal tell you? That's why it's important. You've got a journal. So observing others. So we've got educators, we've got Go Live sessions, like I've said. There's other harmonic lists that you can listen to. But definitely learning from people that have got what you want. So if you want to be funded, find a funded trader that made a lot of mistakes. If you want to be an educator, speak to someone who's an educator. You know, whatever you want, align yourself with those people. Mindset's massive. So like this whole call's been about mindset. I've only learned this stuff because I've spent 14 months doing personal development. Always. My book, 2 books that I'm going to read next. So I challenge myself to read a new book, 1 book a month. So I'm way on my way to do that. I'm way ahead. Have to change. You have to change the way you think. You want to do this. Oh, Amanda, that's so sweet. Thank you. We'll get there. We'll get you there. And always think, like, if you lose, it's not the market's not coming after you. You know, a lot of the time that's where then like self-doubt drops in. Ugh, market again, like, always does this to me. Everyone else wins. I always lose. It's nothing to do with the market. It's you. I know that sounds harsh, but until, like, literally I had to go through that and be like, I actually questioned the whole thing at once. Like, can you actually make money trading? Is this like the biggest scam going? Honestly, I questioned it until I realized, I was like, no, you're the problem. Now, you've made up a new strategy when you're trying to get funded. I made up a strategy. That's on me. Cool. So I want you to really think about tonight's call. Go back over this call if you need to. Speak to me one-to-one. Like, be very, very clear what you're trying to achieve out of getting funded. What is it? Why are you doing it? What's the pain for? Is it worth it? Is it going to make you feel amazing when you achieve it? When you think about it, are you excited? When you think, right, I've got £280,000 funded account. I'm making 20 grand a month. What are you going to do with it? Does it move you? Or is it 5 grand a month that you're like, okay, I can believe that? But what have to be, you have to visualize. You have to get excited by your goals. Because when the tough times come, it's the only thing that will keep you going. If it doesn't excite you, then or you're doubting the whole thing. You know, we really need to work on mindset. Okay, mindset's everything, like you can see. Cool. So that is all I had for this evening. The only other thing I was going to mention, I know Amanda's already got one, and I need to speak to Jay when Jay watches this session. Having a vision board. Again, something I was very resistant about. You've got to have your goals. You've got to see them. You've got to see them everywhere. Like they're on my phone. They're in the corner there, which I'm in the process. I'm going to be moving them to above my screen. Your goals have got to be absolutely everywhere. So, everywhere. No worries, Amanda. You didn't miss much. I just said about having goals, being really focused on why you're doing this. It should be exciting. It should move you. And having a vision board and putting yourself. This is a little secret. Yeah, I know. I've seen yours. I've seen yours. There, it's a great vision board. Amazing. This is a secret. Put yourself. If you've got pictures of yourself, put yourself on your vision board. So if it's a holiday, like a luxury holiday, like for you and your partner, put the two of you in the holiday picture. So like put the picture up and then just put yourselves on it so you can see yourselves on it. It's really good. But they should be absolutely everywhere. Everywhere. Cool. So that's me done for tonight. Amanda's gone again. So mindset phases all the time, thinking about what phase am I in? Am I in 1, 2, 3, or 4? Remember, you stay in 1, 2, and 3 for ages. And you can go round and round in little cycles. And then you get to 4, faith. It all changes. Mastering those things about how, like who we listen to. Are you being coachable still? Are you still willing to learn? Are you still willing to change? Becoming consciously, unconsciously competent, being on autopilot. And then about being a trader, get emotions out of the market, work on yourself, work on developing your journal. And I can't wait. I can't wait to all of, like when Ian and Alan got funded, it was way more, I was way more excited than I was when I did it, which is strange because it was a big thing for me. But I can't wait. Honestly, it will change everything. It will change everything. It's worth having, but it's not always easy getting it. So, you know, is your goal bigger or is your excuse going to take over? Like, it's all there. There's no secrets. It's all what I've just explained today. That is it. All right, that is it. All right, cool. Let me play us out. I'm going to stop recording. So thanks for tonight, guys. Thank you, everyone.